and work and go sideways. Hi, everybody. See, there's 5 of you on here already. Hello. Say hello down in the comments. Let me know where you are watching from. Give this video, this live, a like. Oh, Northern Lights last night. Oh, shoot. No, but are they going to be tonight too? We had, and I posted it on my Instagram. I shared it on my Instagram on Saturday. We had a rainbow, a full circle rainbow around the sun. We also had lots of those white lines, grids across the sky, if you know what I'm saying. And then we had the rainbow like a little while later. So whatever was in the sky, cirrus clouds are what caused the rainbows around the sun. So we got to see that, but I did not get to see the Northern Lights. I'm trying to think. I think last night we were just absolutely wiped out and we went to bed super early. I mean, it was like as soon as darkness hit, we were in bed, everybody. So we've just had really long weeks. Anybody else having insane weeks lately? Hi, Nikki. British Columbia, Canada. Thank you. Thank you for being here. British Columbia is so beautiful. I've never personally been there, but from my extreme sports history, always wanted to go there because it's just amazing. It has amazing mountain biking and lots of fun sports that I'm definitely into. I am going to be making my kids dinner tonight, and dinner tonight is going to be fairly simple. I guess as complicated as grilled cheese can get, I'm going to do that. So I'm getting out all the ingredients. Hi, Carol. Thank you for joining me tonight. I hope you're doing well. Oh, cards came in the mail. We've got those. Thank you so much for those. Hi, Karen. How are you doing? I hope you are well tonight. I haven't made my beverage yet. Aaron just dropped me off here at the house. Hagen has soccer practice tonight, so he took all the kids with him. He said, we're going to give Mom a break, and I said, I'm going to do a live, and he said, well, definitely do that. And so he took all the kids with him because they go play at the playground while Hagen has soccer practice. So he's feeling well enough to do that tonight, which is really awesome. We went to the playground when school let out. We went to the school's playground today and played with some other homeschool families that were there today. One of my homeschool mama friends said, hey, we're going to the playground. Do you want to meet us? So we met up with them at 3:30 because we can only go to the school playground after school lets out. So that's what we did. Hi, Sharon from Nova Scotia. How are you doing tonight? What are you guys drinking on? What kind of beverage do you have? Do you have a beverage? Are you hydrated? I'm debating between making more tea because I had a thermos full of tea that I took to the playground while the kids were playing and I was chatting with my mama friends. So I had some tea there. I double bagged it. Oh, let me go back. Hi, Allison. You must have missed it. Did Aaron have his eye surgery? Well, let me go into that detail. Since you asked, Aaron had right eye surgery Tuesday, 2 weeks ago. So tomorrow it will have been 14 days ago. He had surgery on his right eye, and if you didn't know, he also had trauma to his right eye, and he had a concussion about 3 weeks ago. So his black eye is finally healing from his bar fight, and I gotta get all my timeline, everything straight. So he went to have his left eye surgery. The eye doctor looked at his right eye and said, no way am I doing left eye surgery. Right eye is urgent because you tore your retina. So his right eye, he had 4 holes in his retina, just like holes from wear and tear. Because once you tear your retina, you guys, wear eye protection. Once you tear your retina, you're at risk for future deterioration and all kinds of problems with your retinas. Typically, retina issues happen in the older population. So the Retina Eye Center that Aaron goes to, it's always elderly people at that Retina Eye Center. It's always older men. A lot of older men there getting their retinas repaired. And he's like one of the youngest guys he's ever seen in there. So what happens is your damaged eye, well, your good eye will mirror your damaged eye. So his left eye developed 4 holes in that eye, and I think it's his left eye that has a cataract. One of his eyes, the VA found a cataract. So now he has 2 retinas damaged and a cataract. So this Wednesday, day after tomorrow, he is set to have left eye surgery. However, yes, you're right, Courtney, that's where we're going. That's where we'll be. The left eye is supposed to get done on Wednesday, but he's having tons of problems with his right eye still. He says it's like a mouse cursor is how he's describing it, but he's got something in his line of vision, and his vision is still very foggy in that eye, and it's not been good. He's really frustrated. He's having lots of issues, and he's in a lot of pain. So he's still experiencing pain, and we don't know if the pain is from the trauma of his head injury that he had. He also has like a really bad knot on his nose that he's developed, and I think the knot on his nose is from the trauma, and I think everything was just so swollen that, you know, once your swelling starts to go down, there's always like a little pocket of inflammation remaining when you have an injury like that anywhere on your body, and a lot of times you'll have like a little knot or something there that exists for a while. At least that's what we're thinking. That's what we're hoping. That knot on his nose is just from that accident. So Wednesday he's supposed to get his left eye done, but the poor guy, he's so sick and tired of being poked and prodded. If his right eye is not good, or if here's the thing, you can't keep that man down. You can't stop him from doing anything. So he had eye surgery on a Tuesday, and then he played in 2 back-to-back golf tournaments on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think. I can't remember all the days because it's all a blur to me. And we all went camping together as a family last week. We rented an Airbnb and we stayed on the river. We stayed on the Rogue River, and yeah, you can't stop him, because he's one of those people that he feels like if he's not doing, then he's failing, or he's not being productive enough. So he's like me, basically. So if we're not constantly doing, if we sit and rest, if we take a rest, we feel like we're failing somehow, right? I don't know if that's like a mental disorder or OCD or what it is, but we camped. There's a video on my channel. We stayed at an Airbnb. It was a camper. It was a 5th wheel camper, and it's in somebody's yard that lives on the Rogue River, and they have direct access to the river. So they have a little sandy beach there. It's right before Grants Pass. I think it's in a town called Rogue. I'm not sure, but it's right before you get to Grants Pass, between Grants Pass and Medford. There's like a I don't know. I don't want to tell you like the wrong place, but it's right off of the I-5. Is that Interstate 5 that goes through there? And you can literally see the campsite from I-5. So if you're driving down I-5, you can see like a little beach area on the Rogue River, and you get off the exit of I-5 and you take a left, and you meander down that way, and you come to a T in the road, and you take another left. No, you take a right, I'm sorry, and then it's going to be a little ways down that way. So it's right off the I-5, and you can hear all the traffic from this campsite, but the location is cool because you're just right on the river, and it's beautiful. The kids got to fish, and we had to cut that trip short, which was kind of a bummer, but we made the best of it while we were there. Yes. It's a cool spot. The river was actually up a whole lot from last year. Yes, the Rogue River. The river was up quite a bit. So last year when we went, because of you know, all the drought and everything that we've experienced over the last few years. And we had so much snow this last year that the river was up really high. So last year we were able to walk to this little island and there was like this little strip, and we couldn't do any of that this year. The river was up too high and it was raging. So that was really cool to see. Such a blessing to have adequate water in our waterways. I know so many, you know, we're all just really happy about that. The ducks are back. There's ducks everywhere. I think last year during duck season, when Aaron and all of his buddies were duck hunting, there wasn't a lot of ducks, but this year, and I'm gonna post it in my next video, I got some really cool footage of some duck flocks flying and taking off and things like that around here, because there's just ducks everywhere. So that's really cool. But yeah, so we went to the Rogue River, stayed there for a few days while Aaron had his tournaments, and then, because you guys, like, it's just one thing after another. So when I left, Aaron was still playing in his tournament. And mind you, he had just had eye surgery on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday or Thursday, one of those days, we loaded up the family and we went to the river and we camped. So he didn't take time to heal. So now, I don't know if it's that he didn't take time to heal or if it's just that his eye surgery wasn't effective. He had 246 lasers to his right eye to tack the holes and to tack his retina back together. He said, it's no fun smelling your flesh burning, and I imagine it's pretty miserable. It's my worst nightmare to have anything happen to eyeballs. It's seriously, I have an eyeball phobia. So the day that Aaron hurt his eye in 2017, he came in the house like this, and I immediately went into panic attack mode because, oh no, you've blown your eyeball out or something, right? And a piece of his bow and arrow like this, he had a compound bow and it derailed at full draw. So he had 70 pounds of pressure at full draw, was shooting at a target, and his bow exploded and a little clip off of his bow went through his right eye. And he went to the emergency room. Well, first when he came inside, he did this. He pulled down on his eye and I saw the piece pop out of his eyeball. Oh. And so he went to the ER. They looked at his eye. They're like, you're fine. But he wasn't fine. His retina was bleeding. And then eventually what happened was when you tear your retina, you see like a cloaking or a curtain in front of your eye, so you can't see anything. You see like half your sight is blacked out. So that happened, and he immediately was like sent over to Medford to the retina clinic where they did emergency surgery 2 weeks after the fact. So his eye had been bleeding out, and it wasn't good. So they were able to, I don't know if they fixed it right then with the blood in his eye, but his eye was super jacked up this last surgery, and I was like, are they even going to be able to do your surgery with your eye all bloody? Hi, Sarah, Homesteading Hustle. How you doing tonight? And Allison, same. You said, I create work if I have a quiet moment. It makes a mess in the, yep. Yeah. Never, I think it's like what do they say? I don't know if it comes from like trauma or survival or what, just the constant like fight or flight, always got to be doing something, always got to be on the defense. Yeah, but it's nonstop around here. It's nonstop. I cannot tell you guys how insane and nonstop it is. I told Aaron, I was like, are we just crazy magnets for drama? Because I could tell y'all stories for days about the crazy stuff that happens to us, and we just are going through another thing, and I'm not sure if I'm going to share it on the channel or not, but we're just going through it right now. And today was a hard day. Today was a really hard day. But we made the best of the day. We turned it around. We had a great day with the kids, and we're just trying to make the best of a really frustrating situation. So, yeah, just keep us in your prayers. Keep us in your prayers, because it's just one thing after another. It's like a roller coaster ride around here. I told him, I was like, I don't know if we're just crazy or if we're just a magnet for drama. Are we insane? possible. It's possible. You have 6 kids, Allison? Yeah. Yeah, you just got to keep moving, because if you stop, the house is going to burn down, right? If we stop. If we don't keep it going, it's going to burn down. I've got a fresh loaf of bread, and last night I made this bread like 5 or 6 p.m. I stuck it in the bread machine, and we were so exhausted. I even smelled it baking, and I was like, oh yeah, Katie, don't forget about the bread. Then this morning I woke up and I got out of bed and I walked out here, and it took me like a couple seconds, and I said, oh no, I left the bread in the bread machine. So it had some condensation on it. It was a little wet. The crust was a little bit wet, but that's okay. It's still a beautiful loaf of bread. It just got left in the bread machine all night long. So I'm gonna slice this up, and I've got some Follow Your Heart dairy-free American cheese slices that I got from Azure for Hagen. She is now tolerating gluten. Well, we're kind of like on the up and up with Hagen's situation. She had that horrible stomach bug for a week, and it completely wrecked her gut. She was having hives for weeks after that. We finally had her on a daily antihistamine, and she is doing so much better. She's doing so much better. So she's actually, oh, Aaron, my husband's watching my live. Don't you have 5 kids to watch? You have 6 kids. All right. Hi, Marie from Illinois. Yes, I have been to Illinois. I've been to Chicago. We had train stops in Chicago on our way from Chicago to Oregon. So we would have a 5-hour layover in Chicago. So we'd go and get some deep dish pizza from there. Hi, Kathy. And Aaron's on here. You guys can ask Aaron all about his eye surgery. He's watching. I don't know if he'll comment, but he can tell you about his flesh burning and how he's doing. Aaron, they were asking about your eye surgery, and I told them that you get to do it all over again on Wednesday. So good time. It's a good time. So the kids and I are going to take Aaron to this eye surgery. Previously, for some appointments and for some things, he had someone from work take him, but this week the kids and I are going to take him, and we're going to go to Costco. We haven't had a Costco membership in 3 or 4 years, so we're going to go over and get a Costco membership and do a big, probably not as big as we want, because the plan was to take 2 vehicles and load up at Costco and get all the things that we need for a couple months, except for fresh food. But since we have to drive Aaron to his eye surgery, we're just going to take 1 vehicle and load that 1 vehicle up, and then his eye surgery's in the afternoon, as long as they don't cancel it. So they can reschedule it based off of if they have an emergency come in. If somebody needs emergency eye surgery, they'll reschedule Aaron. So we are going to go to Costco, and the kids and I are super excited about that, because we told the kids that they get to pick out some snacks and some goodies that they like. So they're all excited because they get to do grocery shopping too, which we don't really ever take our kids. Aaron takes them grocery shopping, but I don't take the kids. I try, if I don't have to, I try not to take them out in public alone, because the world is crazy, and a little old me with 5 kids is a huge target. I am a target. They will see me putting the baby in the car and snatch one of my other kids or something. So I am weary to go out. So Aaron's going to go with us to Target, and the kids are going to have a good time shopping with us, and we'll probably get lunch there and all of that kind of stuff. 1, 2, 3. 3 kids. Got to keep track of my bread count. I don't slice my whole loaf at once. Do you guys do that when you make bread? Do you slice the whole thing up at once? How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 more slice. And this is for the kids. Aaron and I are going to have our usual bowl of meat, and I'm probably going to make some rice here in a little bit. I also have this head of cabbage, and I thought about making sauerkraut with you all. Have you all ever made sauerkraut? It's so easy, and it's so good. I just haven't made it in a long time because I can't eat it and Hagen can't eat it right now. So I just haven't made it with fermented foods are a high histamine food. So if you have really high histamines or really high histamine response, you've got to stay away from things like kombucha and fermented foods because they can cause your histamines to go up even higher. So, fun fact. But I thought I will make some purple sauerkraut, which turns into a beautiful fuchsia color once it's fermented. And Casey sent me these 2-gallon bags. Thank you, Casey. And the other kids can have some sauerkraut. And I'll just make enough for maybe a quart jar. If it'll fit in a quart jar, I might have to do a 1/2-gallon size jar. Hi, Kylie. You have some garlic fermented. Kylie, thank you for my bag of berries. Now I'm brain blanking. I got your wheat berries, and I shared it in my last video. Sorry, you guys see my phalanges. Marie said she made carrot soup. Oh man, that carrot soup is so good. So good. That's going to definitely be a wintertime meal rotation. We are going to put that in the meal plan rotation. You slice it as you need it, Kathy. Me too. Hi, Brandy. Hi, Courtney. Hello, 5 Acre Farm from Australia. How are you doing? And hello, Little Blue House Farm from Cabaret, Illinois. And you are in, Marie's in Bartlett, which is a suburb of Chicago. Bartlett. You guys have lots of pear trees there? Is that a silly question? I'm only asking that because recently I bought, well, not recently, probably a month ago, I bought a whole bunch of Bartlett pears. They were tasty. And then I heard Bartlett pear trees. Is it the Bartlett pear trees? That's an invasive species of tree because I'm pretty sure it's Bartlett pears. When they drop their fruit, the trees grow rampantly. And so there are areas, and I can't remember where I saw this, but there's areas where it is like way too many Bartlett trees. Thank you, Kathy. Oh, you're so sweet. I can get the kids a treat when we go to Medford. Thank you. Bartlett pears, they're like an invasive species of tree. So somebody was warning, wherever I saw this, one of the social medias, they said, don't plant Bartlett pear trees because they're so invasive and they're not native to the US, maybe? Something like that. So be careful what trees you pick. Make sure you're researching what trees you want to plant on your property because they can just get out of hand. So what they're having to do is go and try to get them chopped down before they interfere with power lines and all that kind of stuff. So they really grow like crazy. Gotta get this text message off there. Yeah, so this is the bread all sliced up. And easy peasy dinner tonight. We also have a big block of cheese I'm gonna bust into tonight. Hi, Michelle. Small town in Australia. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, you guys, if you're watching, give this video a thumbs up. That helps push this video out into the algorithm so that more people can join us and we can all have a big happy chat. What kind of knife do you guys slice your cheese with? I'm not going to slice it with this. I'm just opening. This is my package opening knife, my little paring knife. It's what I prefer to open things with. I just have more control with it. Got to have a good paring knife. This one's not sharp, obviously. I'm having a tough time cutting this. Oh yeah, and somebody commented on my last video. I sharpened a knife. And when I sharpen my knives, I always go like this. I wipe them off on my apron or I wipe them off on a cloth. But she brought to my attention, and I was probably so preoccupied cooking and filming, she said, did you wipe off or wash your cutting board where you sharpened your knife? And I said, I don't know. I'll have to go back and watch the video because now I don't remember if I pulled out a different cutting board to cut my food on, because I have a big cutting board that I leave on my counter. It's like my work surface. And then what I do is I will grab out another cutting board and put it on my big cutting board, and then that's what I will do all my produce on, because my big cutting board is such a pain to wash and everything. I just prefer like smaller cutting boards, or I'll use plastic ones. I know, not supposed to use plastic, but I'll use easier cutting boards, ones that I can throw in the dishwasher or whatever, versus using my huge wood one. So just a reminder to all of you, if you are sharpening knives, that you wipe your knives off before you cut into your food. That's a no-brainer. But also, if you're sharpening your knife on a cutting board, make sure you wash your cutting board off too. And then one of you asked in the last video, what is the brand knife sharpener I use? And my dad ordered this for me. It's called a Cookworks, and it sharpens, it has a diamond surface prep sharpener right on this side. I don't know what side that is for you guys, the left side. And then it has a tungsten steel sharpener in the middle, and then right here has a ceramic stone for your final polish. So I have not used the tungsten steel sharpener because I feel like that is for when your knife gets, the way that sharpener is, I feel like that's for when, if you get a ding in your knife, that you use that to get rid of the ding in your knife. So it's a little, it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It has sharp edges on it to kind of clear the knife of any debris or nicks or dings in it. Then you use the diamond surface to sharpen it, and then the ceramic stone to final polish it. So I actually need to sharpen my little paring knife because it's dull as a doorknob. And Cookworks, that is the one that I am using. You have one like this too, Kathy? And I have another one floating around. I don't know if I put it in the donation box or not, because I feel like I wore it out because I use sharp knives all the time. And then when my dad was visiting, I didn't have faith in my knife sharpener to be good enough for his knife because he made me a knife. So this is my dad's knife, and I'm actually scared to sharpen it. I feel like I need one of those stick. I feel like I need one of those, but I'd probably end up cutting myself. But my dad makes knives, and he made this knife. Hi, 5 Acres Farm. You're in oh, cool. So you guys are kind of near each other. And he makes these. He makes the handles, and the handle has turquoise and brass. And I think this is meant to mimic ivory. It's obviously not ivory, but I'm not sure what he's using as the white part. But there's lots of detail in the handle. A whetstone. That, Kylie, I do need a whetstone. Growing up, that's what my parents used to sharpen their knives. So when my dad said he was going to order me a knife sharpener, I thought he was going to order a whetstone because they would spit on it. I know, gross, right? My brothers, when they would sharpen their buck knives, they would spit on the sharpening stone and sharpen their knives. I don't know that my parents spit on the whetstone, but that's what my brothers did because usually we were out in the woods. And that's how they sharpened their knives. So that's what I thought my dad was going to get, was like an authentic knife sharpener. And he got me this modern thing. So it works good. He says that he uses it on his knives that he makes. So I'm just nervous to use it. And I also, that knife is so large, I just sleep with it when Aaron's out of town. So if anybody comes into the house, I got my knife. So I sleep with it. I have like an area of my bed that I keep it. I know, crazy, right? But it makes me feel secure. I'm trying to see if I have my other knife sharpener in here, but I think, oh, yeah, look at that, I do. So this one is a Chef's Choice, but I didn't really, this one has rotors on the inside. I don't think you guys can see that because it's dark, but it has some kind of rotors like rotating sharpeners. There's 2 in each one. So it was a little different. I didn't feel like this one worked as good, but according to the chefs, it's their choice. So I don't know. I wasn't so much a fan of this one. I prefer this one because this one's more like a whetstone in a convenient package. And I feel like this one works pretty good. I don't know why I had an aversion to this one. It sharpened my knives. Oh, I know what it was. My knives were going through, they finally went through the plastic and started cutting into the metal of it. So, Kathy, you got the right idea. I know, Aaron got me a little pistol, or I don't know what it is. I'm not that smart about guns to where I know like all the names and everything. But so I've got one too. But I don't know. I need to learn how to shoot it a little bit better before I'm comfortable. But yes, sleeping with a gun by your bed is probably wise, especially if you live in Oregon. Well, actually, no. If somebody invades your house in Oregon, I believe the law is that if you shoot them, you can get charged with murder if they break into your house. However, in places like Florida, if somebody invades your home and, you know, they break into your home, you have every right to shoot them. So it just depends on what state you live in. I got 5 kids. I don't want to go to jail, so I'm hesitant. But I'll whip out a knife. Scare somebody with it. I know, my husband would be like, blast them. You gotta blast them. Risk going to jail. But you would with a knife too, because, right, all weapons have the potential, all objects have the potential to kill. So what I'm using to cut my cheese is my boning knife. And these knives, actually, my dad got me these knives. These are Chicago, the thing is worn off of them now. No, it's not. These are Chicago cutlery knives. And this was my, my first set of knives that I ever owned. And my father gave them to me. You could feed them to death. Hey, y'all want some food? Like, all I got's food. You want a bucket of wheat? Carol, that's too funny. Just give them a bunch of rice that's not cooked and explode their belly. You're in South Carolina, so you can use it if they come in. You also carry when you go to certain places. I know, I'm just not quite that, I'm not at that comfort level yet. That's why I don't take my kids out in public with me very often, unless Aaron's with me, and he carries, because I'm not comfortable. I'm just not there yet. But yeah, your girl knows how to use a rifle. And the handgun, I've been shown how to use it, and I just got to get out, because this was like Christmas gift. I got to get out. We've got to get out soon and go to the gun range and shoot, and learn how to use our guns that we have. We have guns for hunting, and we have guns for protection. That's just the way, that's how we do it. The government has guns, so if the government has guns, the citizens need guns. Right? I know that's probably going to upset some people. But I tell you what, when I say we have had a week, we have had a week. And I probably say that every week. But we had just had we were faced with some major issues, and we had to make some big life changes. So we've made the life changes. Everything is hunky-dory here now, and we feel a lot better about things. But yeah, with what happened in Tennessee and what's happening in the world, we've got to be able to protect our children. Our children in schools especially need to be protected. Every school. I know that schools are a gun-free zone, but that doesn't stop criminals, right? So what they need is an armed guard at every single school. At least one, you know? I think an armed guard at every school would be wise. I get that it's a gun-free zone, but criminals don't get that. And we even say, like, why not hire veterans? Why not hire veterans to be the armed guards at schools? That would be wise, wouldn't it? Give them something to do, you know, a purpose, protecting our most precious assets. They're not assets. Children are assets. What am I saying? In Oregon, you can use deadly force if they are intruding or burglarizing. Really? Because it doesn't seem that way. I don't know why. Where did I hear or how do I think that in Oregon you can't? Is it because people can just walk into stores and steal stuff and nobody can stop them? Like, you can't stop people from stealing. That's why Walmart in Portland shut down, because they were just being robbed middle of the day. Just people walking out with TVs and stuff every day, just robbing them blind. And you can't do anything about it. You can't do anything to anybody when they steal now in Oregon and California. So, I mean, what are you going to do when everybody's stealing your stuff? You going to go after everybody? How many hundreds of people are stealing every single day from these stores? Like, the judicial system cannot handle it. It's crazy out there, y'all. Protect yourselves or stay home all the time like I do. I've become such a homebody over the years. All right, so we've cut our big block of cheese. I've got enough cheese here to feed a small army. I wish I could taste this cheese and tell you guys if it's good or not, but I can't. I made the mistake of eating, I didn't make a mistake, I made a very conscious decision to hurt myself and eat cheese a while back, and it caused me to break out really bad on my back, on my face, so I said, nope, I can't do dairy. I know I can't do dairy. It's just a bummer. And so I'm just now getting over that whole breakout rash situation. It causes, I don't know if this happens to any of you guys, dairy causes cystic acne for me. It doesn't for my children yet, but if they start getting into their teenage years and hitting puberty, and if they start getting acne, I'll probably remove cheese from their diets. But right now, they're all fine eating cheese. But every time I eat it, it's like horrendous, awful, awful acne. I do a good job covering it up and stuff. Yes, hire veterans for school. In North Dakota, too, you have a 22 close by. Yes, Trina. Yes, Courtney Anderson. Yes, Sarah. And veterans in schools. It needs to happen. In your town, you lost 6 people. 2E. In your town, you lost 6 people to what? The Walmarts in Portland are scary. Yeah. Aaron's got a trip coming up to Portland soon. I'm not going to say when, but he's got a trip coming up that he dreads going to Portland. I said, can you go to IKEA for me? There's something I want at IKEA. Can you go there? But honestly, I don't want to ask him. Like, I did ask him, but I don't really know if I want him to go to IKEA and have to face like a crowd or a bunch of people or a bunch of disgruntled people or somebody like walking out of IKEA stealing stuff. So maybe I won't send him to IKEA, but there's an IKEA in Portland, and I want to go to Portland, sort of, but I don't want to make a 5-hour car drive with children at this point in time. Although they do really well in the car. But, you know, if I don't have to take them on a 5-hour car ride right now, I don't really want to. 2 hours was kind of my max. Driving over to Grants Pass, that wrecked me. That was rough. Oh, and I didn't finish telling y'all. When we went to Grants Pass on our way back, I mentioned to Aaron, like, maybe we should switch vehicles because I had the big truck and I had a feeling there was going to be snow on the pass, which it's probably best that I had the big truck. But the poor guy, he got stuck with the van, and by the time his tournament finished up and he was driving over the mountain, there was a foot of snow on the mountain, but it had car tracks. But when I was driving over the mountain, the snowstorm had just started, and I was in the big honking truck. So everything was fine and dandy for me and the kids. I was, I had an iron grip on the steering wheel because that's just how I drive in inclement conditions. I just grip the steering wheel, and by the time I get home, I can't open my hands. And so the kids and I were praying and praying and praying when he said he left Medford. And about the time we were praying for him, he actually said he almost got in an accident in the van driving over the mountain pass in a snowstorm at dusk. It might have been nighttime by that point, but there were other two-wheel drive vehicles driving over the mountain too, and one of them just stopped in the middle of the road, and then all three of these two-wheel drive vehicles were all stopped, and they had to push each other to get going, and then there was a clear path where the snowplow came through, so they were able to get the cars pushed over to that path, and then they helped each other get going out of the deep snow that they were stopped in. And by the grace of God, Aaron made it home safe and sound. He said he was praying the whole way home. And I said, I cannot believe, because I even told him, I texted him, I was like, hey, it's snowing on the pass. Maybe you should stay in Medford. And he took a chance and came home, and thank goodness. And also thank goodness that he was in the van, because he's a better snow driver than me. I tend to not be so great in inclement weather. So he beasted it the whole way home and got home safe and sound, thank goodness. But I was a nervous wreck knowing that he was going to drive home in that weather. Oh, I just hate that. But hopefully that was the last bit of snow that we got here, and spring is on its way. We actually have a clear yard now. So yesterday was Sunday? Yeah, Sunday. Got up, made the kids sheet pancakes yesterday, and we tidied up the house. We kind of all rally together and do house stuff, did the inside house stuff, and then we went outside and cleaned up the yard. So we have tons of pine cones, tons of branches and pine needles, and all that stuff has to be picked up and burned. So we spent almost the whole day. That's why we were so exhausted last night. I told y'all at the beginning of this live that we were done and we missed the northern lights because we sacked out when the sun set. So yeah, that's why we were so tired. Lots of yard work, lots of wheelbarrowing. I did a ton of raking, and that whooped me, raking pine needles. And then the kids helped Aaron picking up pine cones, and we didn't burn anything, but we got lots of piles to burn. So possibly tomorrow we'll do the burn day. Today, it appeared that the burning was banned today, but our neighbors were all burning. But we looked online, or Aaron looked online, and we were banned today for whatever reason. Sometimes if the humidity is a certain level, if it's dry for whatever reason, they just don't allow burning here where we live. And so we thought today was one of those days, but everybody around us was burning, and I was like, maybe I should start a fire when I get home and get this stuff burned. And Aaron was like, no, you're not supposed to burn today. I'm like, but everybody else is doing it. Okay, how many of you use mayonnaise when you make grilled cheese sandwiches? And I'm talking about, some people butter the outside of the bread to fry it in a pan. I learned really late in life, I learned at probably 22 years old, that the preferred method by many is to use mayonnaise on your bread on the outside. And I guess the oils and the egg and everything in mayonnaise makes it, and it's true, it does, it makes it delicious and crispy. Sarah, you use butter? I used to always use butter. But there is, I'm telling you, try mayonnaise. If you like mayonnaise, if you can make your own homemade mayonnaise. No mayonnaise on the grilled cheese, Carol? Have you ever even heard of it? Yeah, I was in my lower mid 20s when I heard about putting mayonnaise. Because I grew up, my mom put butter or margarine, which we don't use margarine now because, have y'all ever researched margarine? Yeah, go down that rabbit hole. I used butter up until my mid 20s. And then learned about the mayonnaise trick. But it makes the most delicious, toasty, delicious And I'm not home making my mayonnaise today. I made some like 2 weeks ago, but we still have some mayonnaise. We took mayonnaise that we bought from the store on our camping trip. So I've got this plant-based mayonnaise that I'm going to put on Hagen's. No eggs in that. And then we've got this mayonnaise to put on the other kids. I love mayo. Oh my gosh. Aaron loved mayonnaise. He used to eat mayonnaise. Oh, gross. It's so gross. He would, like, if he spooned it out and put it on something, he would, like, eat whatever was remaining on the spoon, and that totally grossed me out. I love mayonnaise, but I couldn't just eat it straight up. It has to be on a sandwich or whatever. I can't do just, like, a spoonful of mayonnaise. But he no longer eats mayonnaise, because most mayonnaises have seed oils and that kind of stuff, and he's on animal product-based foods and fruits. That's his diet, so he's not doing any mayonnaise anymore. You've tried to like the mayonnaise, but you can't do it on grilled cheese, Kayla? This is how, yeah, Sarah, you got to try the mayonnaise on the outside of your grilled cheese and grill it like that and let me know, because it turns out great. I'm going to turn on my pans and I'm going to start grilling up these grilled cheese. Kids should be headed home soon, so they should be headed back soon. So I need to get it going. Okay. And if I can help it, I don't wash my cast iron. This is the extent of, I mean, it depends on what I cook in it. But I made scrambled eggs this morning, and they didn't stick to it because I just seasoned my cast iron last night. I jacked it up. I don't know what I cooked in it. But things were like sticking really bad, so it needed to be seasoned well. So I seasoned it last night, coated it in coconut oil, and put it in the oven for an hour at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. But make sure that you wipe off as much coconut oil as you can. And also, sometimes if it soaks up all that coconut oil, you're going to have to do another coating and let it go for longer again. So mine could have used another coating because it soaked up all the coconut oil. But I just put more coconut oil in it and put it on the stovetop and warmed it up and wiped it around in there and then just left it. And then today my eggs didn't stick at all, so it turned out really good. Ooh, eating mayo straight out of the jar, that's disgusting. I mean, to each their own, honestly. I married a man that does it, that did it. No, you can't taste the mayonnaise. It just tastes like salty, delicious toast, like a perfectly toasted, buttered, delicious, mayonnaised, fried bread. And then also, I didn't realize that fried bread was a thing, but that was also something I learned in my early 20s about fried bread, frying it in the frying pan. So I started doing that sometimes for my kids. I'll butter both sides of the bread and pan fry it to make my toast that way. That's really good. But I haven't done that where I've buttered both sides or mayonnaised both sides and put it in the pan and been like, here, kid, here's a piece of mayonnaise bread. But I mean, what's the difference? I'm putting fat on bread and then putting... Kids need fat. Kids need fat, don't they? For their brain development. Kids need lots of healthy animal fats. Have you heard of black pepper inflammatory bad? I've stopped it and I think it really helps. Might be a physio thing. No, Carol. Yes, Carol. I don't know why I said no. I cannot eat black pepper. And people will swear that black pepper and turmeric together are anti-inflammatory. And I've had people in the comments on my channel when I say I can't do black pepper because it causes me extreme pain. I get tons of inflammation. Yeah, black pepper is not good for me, and Aaron notices the same thing too. I had to completely stop seasoning everything with black pepper mostly because he noticed it first and he kept telling me, it's causing inflammation, and I was like, no, there's no way black pepper caused inflammation, until I took it out of my diet and I stopped having inflammation because I eliminated so many things, but I was still seasoning my food with black pepper. And once I eliminated the black pepper and then I was off of it for a few weeks, I reintroduced it because I was like, black pepper in my eggs? Yes. And I did it and regretted it. I mean, it was like by that nighttime, And it's very quick for Aaron and I now to notice inflammation when we eat things that cause inflammation. And so many foods and so many vegetables cause inflammation. And I know so many people are going to disagree with me on that, but when you eliminate everything from your diet and you're just eating a certain amount of things for a couple of days or for a week, and all the inflammation is out of your body, when you start to reintroduce things one at a time and you start to say, oh, that made me hurt, and then you let your system clear, you go back to the things that don't hurt you, and then you introduce something else, or you put black pepper on something. Like, okay, I'll tell you, prime example, I made a soup that was on the autoimmune protocol, and then I wrote a little blurb. I was like, yeah, the black pepper in that caused me pain, I couldn't eat that anymore. So whatever soup it was that I made, it might have been a curry. Anyways, the autoimmune protocol recipe called for black pepper in the seasonings for that particular food. And then someone said, when I said below, like when I edited the video and I said the black pepper caused me pain, I can't do that anymore, I got chewed out in the comments by someone that said there's no way that black pepper caused you pain because black pepper and turmeric together reduce inflammation. I beg to differ. I experience pain and inflammation with black pepper. That's me, that's my body. If you don't, then that's you, that's your body. Have at it. I'm glad you can eat black pepper. I can't. I also can't eat jalapenos, or I can do, I don't know if bell peppers affect me. I've just eliminated them. And but black pepper 100% causes me pain. And I have old injuries. I've got a bombed motocross shoulder. I feel like I have a softball lodged in it back here right now. I feel like someone's got their fist underneath my shoulder blade, and it's painful. And I'm gonna be honest here. I ate something that I shouldn't have. When I got home, I ate something I shouldn't have. And since I've been on this live, my shoulder is like, it's getting angry at me. I've got a torn labrum in my shoulder from racing motocross. So 100% Carol, if black pepper is causing you pain, eliminate it. Also, look into different vegetables. Most vegetables, their defense mechanism, because in nature, a lot of animals aren't going to be eating vegetables. My infant, toddler, when we introduced food to him, he preferred meat and liver over vegetables. I've tried to get this kid to eat vegetables, and he'll eat things like, it just depends. Like I'm not saying he doesn't eat vegetables. They like mixed vegetables with butter and things like that. But certain vegetables, a lot of them, cause inflammation. Seeds inside of fruits and vegetables cause inflammation. So if you're eating things like cucumbers, scrape the seeds out. I don't for my kids because my kids don't have injuries and they're not old like me, so they don't feel pain like Aaron and I do. But definitely, if you can get seeds out of your fruits and vegetables. Seeds have coatings on them, and the same things with grains and different things. They have coatings on them that is like their defense mechanism. It protects the seed, it makes it undigestible. Your body works hard to try to digest it, etc., etc. It can cause inflammation in your gut and in your body. Anyways, I'm gonna get off that topic because it upsets people when I start talking about vegetables hurting and causing inflammation. But for me and Aaron, we have experimented with our diets so much over the last 12 years. We really have. And if I could go back and share with you how I cooked when we lived in the UK, we were having huge salads every night just about, and I was in constant pain, and I just thought that I had chronic pain and I had to live that way because I have a back injury, I've got my shoulder injury, I've got a problem in my hip, and knee pain. I no longer can distance run, or I can no longer run at all because of my back pain. So things that I love doing, I've had to quit doing over the years. But then we started playing with the idea of foods causing the inflammation to our old injuries. And Aaron has osteoarthritis. And when he eats freely, the last time he ate freely, he walked with a cane for 2 weeks. And I shared a little bit about that on my channel in one of my videos with you all. That was rough because that inflamed him so bad. I was having to help him get up out of the chair, out of the bed. I was having to help him move around the house, and I was having to wait on him hand and foot because his inflammation in his hips and back were so severe from him eating freely, because he had 3 cheat days in a row. We were traveling, and he was like, while I'm traveling, I'm gonna eat Buffalo Wild Wings, I'm gonna eat Chick-fil-A, I'm gonna eat all these things. Well, he did, and he had the worst arthritis, that episode flare up that he's ever had. So immediately right back to strict carnivore. And y'all can research carnivore. Some people are going to say that animal fat and red meat is bad for you. I don't look that unhealthy, do I? I eat about 1 pound of meat a day, and I eat eggs, and I'm a little bit inflamed, but that's because I cheat, y'all. I'm gonna be honest. I ate some gluten-free muffins, and I think that might be part of the reason why I'm wrecked right now too. I made the kids gluten-free muffins, and because I bought all those packs from the store, and yeah, I'm in pain now. So, and it caused some inflammation. I also ate tomato sauce. I had tomato sauce on some rice. I make bone broth rice. Well, I made the kids spaghetti and meatballs, and I really wanted some spaghetti. I didn't eat the spaghetti because I didn't have my gluten-free noodles, but I ate the tomato sauce on some rice. And I didn't eat the meatballs because they had breadcrumbs in them. But I had the tomato sauce, and I put some ground meat on my rice, and tomatoes are a huge, 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 huge inflammatory food. Also, peanuts are a huge inflammatory food. So peanut butter, if you have arthritis or anything like that, peanut butter is going to wreck you. You're going to be in pain. A lot of chronic pain can be healed by a strict diet. I believe that because when I am strict with my diet, I don't suffer. When I cheat, which I do more often than not, Aaron won't cheat. He's very... And he'll say to me, you're going to eat that? And I say, don't judge me. I'm going to eat this muffin, this gluten-free muffin. I'm going to eat it, and don't judge me. And we had it out one day about it. I said, come on, man, can't he just like lay off me about the foods I eat? But he's right, because then I'm complaining to him. I'm going, oh my gosh, I'm in so much pain. And I'm limping around because I get sciatic pain down my leg. And I'm holding my arm like this because my shoulder hurts so bad. And he doesn't say anything to me at all anymore. But I know better. I know better. And I know that I shouldn't be eating these things. So take that with a grain of your real sea salt, as you will. But the only thing we use, Aaron and I, to season our food, salt. So when we're strict, when I'm strict, he's strict all the time, 100%, because he has to be. He can't stand being in pain. It's too limiting to him. He hates it. So he's very strict. So we only season our meat with salt. He eats sour cream, butter, milk. He'll have dairy, he'll have cheese, but he eats meat, fruit. He'll have smoothies, and he limits it to certain fruits. He can tell y'all more about that when he wants to talk about it. He's better about all of that than I am. I'm a little more free will, let me do what I want, and he's more, you're gonna pay for that. And he knows what he needs to do for himself, and I know what I need to do for myself, but I'm still in the stage of, I can do what I want. I'm still in denial. At least I got rid of dairy, at least I got rid of gluten, which I had to do, except for that dairy I ate. And I told y'all I reacted to it. I ate a little bit of dairy, and I got cystic acne all over my forehead, all over my back. It was horrible. And I'm still recovering from that. And I get it on my neck too. If you get like, yeah, it's awful. So, yeah, if you're struggling and you don't know why you wake up with puffy eyes, so when you guys see like I have puffy bags under my eyes, that's because I ate tomatoes. That's because I ate something I wasn't supposed to eat, and it causes inflammation. So I'll wake up in the morning and I'll have like really swollen eyes when I eat certain things. So that spaghetti sauce wrecked me. I will not be eating spaghetti sauce for a month or so, or maybe more, until I get the wild hair that I say, I don't care what it does to me, I'm going to eat it anyways, and then I'm going to pay for it. And that's just how the vicious cycle goes for me. I do really well for a stint of time, and then I get really rebellious and I say, I just want to eat something else. I just want to eat this piece of cheese. I just want to eat tomato sauce. Or I won't eat gluten. I won't touch that because that really hurts me. That makes it so I can't stand up. So I won't venture into gluten. I will do the einkorn. I'm going to, Kylie sent some einkorn, so I'm going to try that. I'm going to attempt to make some einkorn. I might ferment it, I'm not sure. I might make sourdough with it. I might sprout it and try to make some bread and give that a try and see if that hurts. But just listen to your bodies, y'all. If you're suffering with chronic pain, if you have arthritis, if you have busted up body from injuries that you've sustained in your life and you're in pain every single day, look to your diet, because there are things that you can do to tweak your diet to heal yourself. And yes, you have to be strict for a certain amount of time. You have to do an elimination diet and eliminate all those inflammatory foods and do it for 2 weeks. If you can do it for 2 weeks and see how you feel, I promise you will get relief. And then when you start to reintroduce things, and you'll go, wow, I didn't realize how good I felt until I felt bad again, right? You don't realize how, like, it's like when you have a cold and you can't breathe out of your nose and your nose is really stopped up and you can breathe out of one side okay, but you can't breathe out of this side. Or when your nose is completely stopped up and you go, I forget what it's like to breathe. I didn't appreciate breathing. I should have appreciated breathing through my nose more, right? It's the same thing when you have chronic pain and you get to a point where your diet is good and you're feeling great, and you take it for granted how good you feel until you reintroduce that silly food that just wrecks you. It just wrecks you. And that's something that we've been trying to tweak over the years. There was a time when Aaron and I first got married and before we had Riker, we were lean, mean, muscle, CrossFit, muscle building machines. And I was at my most fit that I ever was in my whole entire life, but I was in excruciating pain every single day, just pushing through and saying, well, I'm going to be in pain no matter what I do, so I might as well keep doing what I want to do anyways. And I didn't know that food was hurting me. And once I got a grasp on that, and it's been in the last 2 years, that I've really figured it out, what is harming my body. And when I try to tell like people that have arthritis and stuff like that, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't eat those peanuts if you don't want to be in pain, but they just think that it's a chronic condition that they can never heal from, when in reality, what you're eating can heal you. There are people who are on very strict carnivore diets and all they eat is beef, and that's it, beef and water. And those people will tell you they've cured their arthritis. There is a girl from Canada. She had such severe arthritis, and she was young too. I think she was 17 when she had to have hip replacements. Her arthritis was so bad that her joints were just completely shot. And she had hip replacements, but she was just having this horrendous autoimmune arthritis. Well, she tried everything that her doctors told her to do. She was doing all these treatments. She was doing all these things. Then she went to beef and water. That was it. Because you can live off of just meat. You can, I'm not kidding, it has like everything that you need in it. It has all the fats, all the amino acids. It has everything, and eggs too. Eggs are the perfect food. You can live off of meat. You can live off just eggs. It has everything that your body needs. Of course you need water. So she eliminated everything from her diet. Jordan Peterson's daughter, what's her name? Anybody know? Jordan Peterson, he also is on a very strict carnivore diet. And it's a miserable diet. I mean, they will admit that it's not the most fun thing in the world, but it's changed their lives and it's made their lives livable again because they don't have chronic pain, because they found what worked for them to eliminate all the inflammation. She was able to cure her, what is it called? The youth osteoarthritis. There's something, anyways. She was able to get relief and healing from Michaela Peterson. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. She was able to cure it. Now she lives a life that she can get out of bed every day. She can function. And she lives off of steak and water. And her dad is the same way. And he was suffering all kinds of mental health issues. He's a psychologist, if I am correct. And he was struggling with a whole lot of issues. And he went to just beef and water. And he's thriving now, right? So once we, some people are going to say that we're going to give ourselves heart attacks from eating this way. I think where people get confused is seed oils and those types of fats. Those types of fats that cause insane inflammation and really clog the arteries and all of that sort of thing. You know, up in Alaska, there are tribes that they live off of blubber and all kinds of fat and meat and fish and things like that, and they thrive and they survive. Also the caveman diet, things like that. It's when we stray from those things and conform to the food pyramid that we get all kinds of health issues. So grains are huge on the food pyramid, and yet here we are. I've developed celiacs and I can't eat grains at all. Or not grains, I can't eat wheat at all. So I still eat rice. And Aaron says when he eats rice, he gets inflammation because of the carbs, and it breaks down to sugars in his body, and the sugar load on his body causes him inflammation. So he'll eat a couple bites of my rice out of my Instant Pot when I make it, because every once in a while, that's his cheat. So if you guys are wondering if he ever cheats, and I said that he doesn't, he's very strict, I lied. He will eat a couple bites of bone broth rice, just plain salted, cooked in bone broth, and he will have inflammation and pain. And he'll say 30 minutes later, he'll say, oh no, it's hitting me. And he knows, he can feel it in his back and his hips. So he will have his cheat day like once a month or whatever, and he'll eat some rice, and then he's quickly reminded, as I am with tomatoes and black pepper and so many other foods that I've eliminated from my diet, I will remind myself by testing it out and sticking my toes in the water with the tomato sauce and things like that. And I have to remind myself, Katie, this hurts you. Don't eat this. This is why you don't eat this. You feel yourself now, you are in pain. You can't function normally. You can't bend over and pick anything up. And I stand a lot because sitting hurts my back. If I sit for very long, I have L4, L5, S1 herniated discs in my back. So I have a really hard time sitting for any amount of time. So I'll either lean over, like when I first got on here tonight, I'm leaning over the countertop. That's how I live most of my life, is standing or leaning on the countertop. I sit for very short periods of time. So sitting hurts, especially if I eat tomato sauce like I did a couple days ago. And whatever, oh, the gluten-free muffin, never again. I say never again, and I say that every time I eat anything gluten-free that's a sweet, or if I make gluten-free cookies or gluten-free gluten-free brownies. Man, they wreck me. They wreck me. It's fun while I'm eating it until a little while later when I'm completely miserable. All right, I said I was going to turn on the stove and get these things going because I want to show you guys how crispy and amazing the bread is when you do the mayonnaise. So we're gonna make a couple of sandwiches here, and we are gonna show you how amazing this bread turns out with mayonnaise. And this is mayonnaise made with cage-free eggs, and then I'm also gonna try the plant-based mayonnaise with Haggen's. And I was telling you guys earlier, Haggen's doing a lot better. I think just that stomach bug really wrecked her gut and just made it where she wasn't able to eat pretty much anything for a few weeks. And then we started the antihistamines, and now she had some sheet pancakes yesterday. She's off antihistamines at the moment because we're doing some allergy testing coming up. and so she can't have antihistamines when we go in for the allergy testing. So yesterday was the first day she was off her antihistamines, and she had eggs in the sheet pancakes that I made, and bananas and wheat. We just kind of hit her all at once. But she's been eating the bread for a few weeks now with no problems with gluten. But remember, I took her off, I eliminated everything to, hi Mel. Oh, I'm glad you made it. I know you kept saying that you keep missing the lives. But back to Hagen. We eliminated everything because we're like, okay, anything that can cause an allergic reaction or that can cause hives or that can affect her, we're just going to eliminate all of it because it seemed like everything was affecting her. Well, now we're at the like reintroduction phase where she is not afraid to try things. So we reintroduced wheat a week or two ago. She was doing really fine on wheat but she was also taking antihistamines. So yesterday was the first day she didn't have an antihistamine. She had wheat and some eggs in those sheet pancakes, and she seemed to tolerate it fine. She did not break out in any rashes. She didn't break out in hives. So I said maybe eggs in moderation for her, but I'm still going to use this plant-based mayo for her. But I think eggs in moderation, we're going to keep testing the waters. So we might try eggs tomorrow. We'll just have to see. So it's all about trial and error, especially when you go through something that's that traumatic where every single food you're eating is causing you to break out in hives and you're having to medicate yourself just to be able to nourish yourself. That was so frustrating and very traumatic for her. So we're just kind of taking it easy and reintroducing foods. We're not going to do any mammal products yet because mammal products were all very high on her IgG testing. So mammal products, we're still going to keep away from the mammal products. When I talked to her doctor about testing her for alpha-gal, her doctor refused to test her for alpha-gal, mainly because she's only seen one person in this area that had alpha-gal, and that person had traveled to Tennessee and apparently got a tick bite in Tennessee, and then they came back and developed alpha-gal. I failed to mention to the doctor that we have traveled to Virginia in the last 5 years. We go to Virginia. There's ticks in Virginia. We never found a tick on Hagen, but that's not to say that she wasn't bitten by a tick. She also doesn't have a severe allergy to meats as far as we know. So she's not anaphylactic. She just has like side effects from mammal products. So we're just staying away from those for right now for her since they were so high on her. You can get an IgG blood test and it tests for immune reactions in your blood to certain foods. So I go Friday. My appointment's coming up. I just had a 206 foods tested in my blood to see what is affecting me. But I'm going to stick to the diet that I'm on or the way that I eat unless I get rebellious because it's working for me. So if you find what's working for you, what's the point of having a test that tells you, what not to eat? So find what's working for you. Find what you feel best on. Eliminate everything and go down to just like the most plain basic foods like meat, rice, and fruit. And then after a week or two, reintroduce some foods and see how your body reacts when you start reintroducing more exciting things. I will say going dairy-free has been the biggest game changer for me, especially with Hashimoto's. If you have any kind of thyroid issues, dairy is a huge inflammation and can cause your antibodies, your body to react to your thyroid a lot more. I'm not really sure the science behind it, but ever since I've had Hashimoto's, my care providers have said, you need to eliminate dairy, you need to eliminate gluten. And I only eliminated dairy for my breastfeeding infants, babies, and I only really would eliminate dairy for them because I didn't want them to be miserable, so I eliminated it from my diet completely. And then when they were able to tolerate it in my diet, I'd start eating dairy again, and then all of these issues would come up. So back in December, I think it was, I finally bit the bullet and eliminated dairy for myself and said, it's just not worth the acne, the inflammation, the pain. And so it's been good until I cheated. I do cheat with dairy every once in a while, and then my body erupts and gets really mad at me, and I say, okay, I'm not going to do that again. At least for another couple months. So it'll be a few months before I attempt dairy again. All right, let me bring y'all over here. Lower you down. You get to see my messy kitchen. All right, I've got a spatula. So we're gonna see, oh yeah. All right, so I've got to get some mayonnaise on this side. So you just, I know, some people are gonna be totally grossed out like, wow, that's a lot of mayonnaise. I'm telling you, it makes yummy, yummy, crispy, toasty bread. And I'm going to show you in just a second. So you got to actually turn your heat down a little bit low, because if you cook the outside of your bread too much, you will not get the inside cheeses melted. All right, look at that. Perfect grilled cheese, y'all. I mean, obviously the cheese needs to melt, so I turn the heat down a little bit. But look at that toasty goodness. I mean, have you ever, with butter or anything else on your grilled cheese? It's perfect. I mean, I kind of missed a spot right there. I don't know if it just didn't get hot right there. You see it kind of cooked uneven. But beautiful and delicious. Kids are going to be happy. And then we're going to have, I thought about making them some mixed vegetables or something, but I have a bunch of melon. You can see I have one back there, but I cut up a cantaloupe and I cut up a honeydew melon yesterday, maybe? I think it was Sunday, yesterday. So we're going to have the rest of that cantaloupe and honeydew melon. You've had a negative allergy test, but you're allergic to corn and cinnamon. I believe it. Is it Dakine? Am I pronouncing that right? Dakine or Dakian? If a doctor refused a simple blood test for alpha-gal with her symptoms, then it's time for a new doctor. Yeah, I know. Well, here's the thing. We have limited options here, and I took her to a allopathic pediatrician, and he actually had a Chinese medicine mother. She was a Chinese medicine herbalist specialist. He was Chinese. And I had well, we'll go into that later. He was actually really helpful as far, well, he was helpful and he wasn't helpful. But he and I had a nice talk about natural remedies and how to help Hagen and what not to take and what to stay away from. And he couldn't believe that I was recommended Benadryl and Pepcid AC to dose her with those to keep her hives at bay. But those were ER doctors that recommended that. So he was a pediatrician. He moved here from China, and his mom was a Chinese medicine physician. So he was actually really helpful and talked to me about homeopathic remedies. And I was like, this is awesome, because I've never had a doctor, any of my kids' doctors ever talk to me about homeopathic remedies. They all just thought I was crazy, right? But we've found relief with certain homeopathic remedies for a variety of ailments. So I was really happy about that interaction with him. But I took her to the naturopath doctor that we pay for out of pocket, and that's who we're doing like stool sampling and all this other stuff through. But she's the one who said alpha-gal doesn't exist around here in Southern Oregon. And I'm like, but we have deer and tons of ticks in our yard, like tons of ticks here. But she insisted that alpha-gal is not an issue here in Oregon and didn't want to test for it. I might push for that again, and I'm going to tell her when we go back for the follow-up, I'm going to say, we've been to Virginia. There's ticks in Virginia. Could it be possible that she had a tick bite that we did not see? Maybe the tick fell off of her or didn't stay on long or something like that. And we just didn't know. You know, like, can we still get her tested? Because I'm suspicious of alpha-gal. Beautiful grilled cheese sandwich for the kiddos. I'm definitely suspicious of that. Also, I know a few other people who have alpha-gal that I've just met through social media and that kind of stuff. And Hagen's symptoms do line up with their symptoms and their diagnosis. So I think you're right about that. We just have very limited physicians in this area. So it's been a challenge to find somebody who's on the same wavelength as me. And if you know me personally, or if you've gotten to know me through social media and that kind of thing, then you know how I am. And I'm not everybody's cup of tea when it comes to modern medicine and all that sort of stuff. Hospital births and everything like that. You know, there's a time and a place for hospitals and that kind of stuff, and we definitely utilize hospitals, and we've had our fair share of experiences with allopathic medicine and preventative medicine and all that sort of thing. So I'm not going to jump down the rabbit hole on all of that, but it's been we have to discover things for ourselves, and we've had to help our family ourselves because the medical system has failed us in many areas of our life. And some of the recommendations that they make to us are actually more harmful to us and our children. And they just don't, all they know is what they're taught, and they're being taught like old medicine. And there's so many nuances and new things and new information and anecdotal evidence and all sorts of other stuff that they just aren't being taught. And so it's tough to find somebody that aligns with how we treat our family and things that we find effective. When I talk about going on carnivore diet, people think it's insane and that we're going to clog our arteries and we are going to have a heart attack. But did you know that you need a certain level of cholesterol to produce vitamin D in your body? And wouldn't you know it, that when I went carnivore, I started producing vitamin D naturally, and I don't supplement. So when I started eating fattier meats and lots more meat, my body was able to produce vitamin D. And the community, the medical community, would have us all believe that you have to supplement and that you don't get enough sunlight, and that the only way to have adequate vitamin D stores is to supplement and sit in the sun. And then they tell you don't sit in the sun and make sure you wear sunscreen, so it contradicts itself. But you have to have a certain amount of cholesterol in your body to make vitamin D. And vitamin D is a hormone that our body produces, okay? So I can't explain why I've never had adequate vitamin D in my system until I went carnivore, until I started eating a lot of meat. And then all of a sudden, I mean, it's ever since I've ever had my vitamin D tested, I have been deficient. And now, 2 months ago when I got tested, had my vitamin D levels tested, she's like, yeah, your vitamin D is good. And I was like, there's no way. Because my vitamin D has never been good, ever. And I ate a heavily plant-based diet with a little bit of meat here and there. And I had lean meats. I ate a lot of chicken. I didn't, I would eat elk and deer, and that's lean since we've lived here, but I didn't eat as much as I do now. And now my body is producing vitamin D. And I don't know. Somebody's got to figure it out somewhere. Why? Why am I making vitamin D now after being deficient my whole life? And all I've done is eliminate certain foods and incorporate more of other foods. And then Aaron told me, yeah, it's because he does all this research about diet, nutrition. He's really into all that. He said, yeah, it's because you finally have the right kind of and the right amount of the right type of cholesterol in your body, and your body's able to make vitamin D. And I said, that makes sense. But it's almost as if they try to keep information from us that makes us healthy. Because if we are healthy, then we don't need their products, right? If we are healthy, we don't need their services, right? Does anybody ever think about that? So if they tell us to eat the food pyramid and that makes us fat, sick, and nearly dead, they're able to profit off us, right? So that is something to ponder and to think about. When we follow the FDA's guidelines and diet and regulations and all of that, are we really a healthier nation here in America, or are we fat, sick, and nearly dead? All right, I'm going to read through these. It's called Practice for a Reason, Erica. You are right about that, girlfriend. We are the advocates for our family, right, Trina? So what am I going to eat for dinner? I'll show you. Let's see what I'm going to eat for dinner. And I haven't made any rice yet, and I don't know if I'm going to make rice tonight. This is what I'm going to eat for dinner. This is elk meat that I made last night, and so I'm going to have a bowl of elk meat, and I'm probably going to have some rice. I just haven't made the rice yet, so I'm really bad. Aaron and I have totally different eating schedules. I eat late at night. It's terrible. So in the morning, I'll eat 5 eggs with meat in it. My eggs will either have, usually it's rice. I'll add meat, rice, and eggs, and I'll cook up 5 eggs. And that's what I have, is a big old bowl of like fried eggs or scrambled eggs. And then middle of the day, I'll eat fruit if I'm hungry, if I get hungry. The thing about meat is it really sustains you. And if you're eating enough protein, you're not going to be hungry every 5 minutes. If you're eating enough protein, animal protein with enough fat, healthy fats, you're not going to be hungry all day long. So whereas when you eat things like carbs, fruits, vegetables, tons of salads, tons of things like that, aren't you starving like an hour later? Don't you just want to eat something like carby, like a muffin or whatever, a little while later? And then you're eating like all this stuff, right? When you eat meat, it sustains you, it fuels you, it keeps you nourished and fed. So I'll eat a huge breakfast in the morning, and then I'll eat some fruits and stuff throughout the day. And then I will, kids are home, and then I'll have a bowl of meat and rice in the evening. And that's what I eat every single day. So it's very simple, it's very plain, it's boring, it's not exciting, just salted meat and bone broth rice. And that's what I have. You all are home just in time. I gotta get this fire cranking. Gotta get these sandwiches. I'm running behind. I'm jaw jacking and not getting anything done. Healthy people don't make them money. That's right, Sarah. They want us unhealthy because that's what profits the system. That's why from day one of life, they're injecting our babies with toxic things and making them customers for life. Day one out of the womb. Jab them, right? Give them that Hep B. Give them that vaccine for sexually transmitted disease that the baby's not even going to come into contact with. So yeah, from day one of life. And if you infiltrate their body and make them sick from day one in life, the parents never question. They just think their baby was born that way, right? They don't question why their child is having chronic ear infections. I have 5 kids. 4 of my kids have never had an ear infection, ever. I have 1 child that has had ear infections in his early life, and I can tell you why, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. So yeah, make us sick for life. I'm making you guys grilled cheese sandwiches.
Yeah, I know.
All right, you guys, I'm going to sign off of here. The family is home. I've got to give them my love and attention. I've got to feed these kiddos and get them to bed. It is 7:30. It's bedtime, but they're just now getting home from soccer. My cutie tootie. You too? Put your shirt down. Oh, you can't? You got itchy belly?
I was the one who had the ear infection.
No, you weren't. You've never had an ear infection.
Yeah.
No, you haven't.
Yeah. Once I had.
Once, I think that was in your head, because the only person that's ever had them was Riker.
It was right here.
You had a little swimmer's, yes, he had swimmer's ear. He had water in his ear one time, and that made him have a little earache. You had gastric bypass 27 years ago. I'm thinking you said 27 because it says 207. And my doctor always hammered on the eat your meat first and then other stuff. Yes, eat meat, y'all. Eat meat. They're making it really expensive for a reason, right?
Yeah.
They're making it expensive because they know if everybody goes carnivore,
It says no. It says 20.
Yeah, if everybody goes carnivore, then the medical system's just gonna crash. People get mad at me for promoting carnivore, but you know, all I have is myself to prove that it works.
But I did have an ear infection.
That's 9 foot 4.
Hmm?
9 foot 14.
Oh, Mom.
Yeah, the 9-foot charging cable. All right, you guys, we're gonna sign off of here and do what we gotta do.
Gotta say bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Subscribe.
Like,
Carol.
subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Oh, Hagen said hi, Carol. Oh yeah.
Thumbs up.
What do you say?
Thumbs up.
What do you say for your card?
Thank you. Thank you for my card. Carol.
Annika says thank you too. But she's got her shirt.
Oh,
You saying-
no, put your shirt in.
You saying thank you for the card?
Thank
I'll
you
put
for
some
the
stuff in.
card.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank
They're
you,
saying
thank
hi,
you.
Hagen. Hi, kiddos. All right, we're signing off. We'll catch you guys next time. Hopefully we can get some stuff, some videos up this week. Carol's saying hi, Annika. Come here so she can see you.
Make her say hi.
Oh, we gotta get her some medicine, Carol. She's got a bug bite on her back that's itching really bad. You want to tell
Hi,
Carol thank you?
Tristan. She said hi. Hi.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. Bye. Thumbs up.
Bye.
We gotta figure out how to get out of here.